edition of World Crisis Radio. This is Webster Tarpley speaking to you from Washington, D.C. Today, our broadcast has a celebratory theme. We're marking the 75th anniversary of the signing of the Social Security Act of 1935 by Franklin D. Roosevelt, one of the high points of the American New Deal. That is to say, one of the building blocks of the New Deal state, the most successful form of human cooperation discovered in all of history before or since, the model of the modern state, the form of polity which was able to defeat fascism, defeat communism, unlock the secrets of the atom, and take man into space and to the moon. That's the New Deal, the first time in world history that the middle class becomes the numerical majority of the entire society. And, of course, we mark it today. Unfortunately, other people who should be marking this are not marking it in the way that they should. But we want to mark it today, first of all, as an attack on the reactionary Republicans, the Roosevelt-hating, wage-gouging, union-busting Republicans who haven't changed a bit. They're just the same as they were in the era of Herbert Hoover and Alf Landon and Wendell Willkie and Thomas E. Dewey, Goldwater, Reagan, all the reactionaries that have been chewing away against the New Deal state and attempting its demolition. And, of course, we also do this as a polemic against the Obama Wall Street Democrats, those Democrats who actually turn out to be even more effective enemies of the New Deal system, the ones who have done really more, in particular, to take down the Social Security Act. The one of the main provisions was, of course, taken down by Clinton. Now, Bush the Younger, of course, tried to destroy Social Security. He didn't succeed, and what we're gearing up for right now is resistance in November, December, for that very sinister lame duck session, when it will be attempted to use that BS commission, that Bowles-Simpson commission, really the Peterson commission, named after a hedge fund hyena and asset stripper from the Blackstone Group and Lehman Brothers. That would be Peter Peterson. They're attempting to essentially destroy Social Security and complete the destruction of Medicare, which Obama has thus far so ignominiously advanced. So it's the 14th of August, 1935 to the 14th of August, 2010, the most successful government program in the history of the United States, quite possibly the most successful government program in the history of the world. And who is there to defend it today? A few voices. James Roosevelt speaking at a meeting of the Retirement Research Institute of the University of Michigan, held here in Washington, did a very good refutation of the scaremongering and the related despicable reactionary tactics coming from the establishment Republicans, of course, the Kyles and so forth, but also from the Sharon Angles, from the reactionary imbeciles who are now what's left of what was once this Tea Party movement, which has now been completely absorbed into the reactionary Republican existing structure. So people should have little doubt about this. Of course, Sharon Angle getting a quick facelift and cosmetic treatment from her cynical Karl Rove-trained handlers about how to hide what she really intends, and probably taking lessons also from Frank Luntz and people like this on double talk and how to use it. So we'll be featuring that throughout the broadcast. Now, however, before we get on to this, we're compelled to pay attention to the building war situation around Iran. And this is marked now the second major essay that I have put out on this, which is dated now the 9th of August from this past week. On the 9th of August, this was posted. This essentially is an update, including the very dramatic call from Fidel Castro to essentially warn the world that we're headed towards a nuclear confrontation, a nuclear war, at the moment when the U.S. and or Israel attacks Iran. And that was essentially what Fidel put out last Saturday. So we did have a first fragmentary report of that in last week's broadcast, but it occurred on Saturday. It was a special session of the Cuban parliament, and you can see what Fidel had to say in this essay that's posted on Tarpley.net. He essentially says that very soon Obama is going to be confronted with this decision. If he does it, if he decides to launch the attack, it will quickly become a nuclear war. Castro says millions of fatalities, including large numbers of Americans, and critical losses, devastating losses for the U.S. forces, naval and military, in the Middle East. And you may wonder, what does Fidel Castro know? Well, you can look at this judicial proceeding recently. A ranking official of the State Department has come out and said that he was spying for Cuba for many decades as on the basis of ideological affinity. Castro is benefiting from an intelligence service. It's called the DGI, right? Dirección General de Noticias, I believe it's called, or de Inteligencia. And this is a secret intelligence agency. They have people in various places around the world. I would say Fidel Castro on this one, you got to give it to him, whatever you think of him. Not a sympathetic figure in many ways, to be sure. But forget about that. Put away your arrogance, put away your resentment, put away your grudges. Look at the merit of what he's saying. Here's a sick old man who comes out of retirement, essentially, to launch a campaign which is centered on this one theme. And if you looked at the U.S. coverage, you looked at the AP wire, if you looked at the various ways in which CNN tried to hide what was actually at the center of this, they broke it down into a soap opera of is Raul angry because Fidel is coming back and wants to take over again, like it's like the Kardashians, except it's not the Kardashians because they're talking about World War III with nuclear weapons coming down on your head. So, welcome to this warning. It is a rare event that a guy who is essentially the head of state, not technically the head of state of Cuba at this point, but in effect he is the head of state of Cuba. He's the head of the Communist Party, launches a warning of this vehemence and this intensity. This deserves to be spread a lot. It should get everybody's attention, and it should not be allowed to pass with simple AP wire covering up the main facts, and that's it. And I think you look at the mainstream press in the U.S., they fell all over themselves trying to bury the story and then bury the main message within this cloud of idiotic gossip and pus about supposed rivalries or the guy's health or whatever it is. Take it at face value because he has been through a thermonuclear confrontation himself on the inside, the Cuban Missile Crisis of October 1962, and I think his behavior there left much to be desired, but maybe he learned something. Anyway, we can learn something by going to the issue that he points to. So that's on Tarpley.net, dated August 8th, and that, of course, presupposes that you've read the Tarpley.net piece from the 21st of July. First one is about 30 pages with about 70 footnotes. The second one is about 15 pages, 35 footnotes. Take a look. That's what it takes to keep up with these things. Now, in terms of what has happened since Fidel Castro's warning, we have a report from the Asia Times that the Bushehr nuclear reactor, where Russian technicians are working to bring this reactor online, is doing drills for air attacks, including shooting down drones, which are thought to be one of the vehicles that might be used for the attack. We'll have more about this in just a minute.